There are tales that circulate among the locals, stories whispered in hushed tones, of the dreaded Lone Chapel. It sits in the middle of nowhere, a forsaken relic of a time long past. I'd heard the rumors of the supernatural occurrences there, and one eerie night, my friends and I decided to test the limits of our bravery. As we arrived at the decaying chapel, the wind howled through the skeletal trees, and the temperature dropped to an unnerving low. The moon, shrouded in an eerie fog, cast an ethereal glow upon the crumbling stones of the chapel. Its eerie silhouette sent shivers down our spines. We pushed open the creaking wooden door, revealing an interior that seemed untouched by time. Candles burned with an otherworldly light, and the scent of incense hung heavily in the air. It was as if we had stepped into a realm where time had ceased to exist. The silence was oppressive, disturbed only by the sound of our echoing footsteps. We reached the altar, and feeling a strange compulsion, I lit a candle. A deep sense of foreboding settled upon me as the flame flickered wildly, casting eerie, dancing shadows on the stone walls. Suddenly, a gust of frigid wind rushed through the chapel, extinguishing the candles and plunging us into darkness. Panic surged through us as we fumbled for our flashlights, their weak beams revealing the ghostly figures of hooded monks in the pews. Their heads were bowed, and their spectral voices chanted in a language long forgotten. We were trapped in a nightmare, witnessing a ritual that transcended the realms of the living. We tried to flee, but an invisible force held us in place. As the chants grew louder and more haunting, a presence made itself known at the altar. A cloaked figure, draped in black, raised its head. Hollow crimson eyes locked onto mine, and a voice that seemed to emanate from the abyss spoke in a guttural tone. You have awakened the curse. A suffocating darkness descended, and the world around us twisted and contorted. We were trapped in a nightmarish realm, where the chapel seemed to stretch endlessly into obscurity. The spirits of the monks closed in on us, their bony fingers reaching out as if to claim our souls. With every ounce of strength, we broke free from the chapel's grip, stumbling out into the desolate night. The lone chapel loomed behind us, radiating an unholy aura. We knew we had escaped, but the curse of that forsaken place would forever linger in our nightmares. A reminder of the terrifying and otherworldly terror that lay hidden in the heart of nowhere. I once ventured to the darkest depths of the countryside, miles away from civilization, in search of an abandoned place rumored to be the epicenter of supernatural occurrences. My curiosity had drawn me to a forsaken hamlet known as Hallowed Hollow. The stories surrounding it were enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. The journey to Hallowed Hollow was treacherous. The moon barely peeked through the thick canopy of gnarled trees that lined the winding, decrepit road. The dilapidated moonlit signs that pointed the way were cloaked in an eerie fog, as if guiding me toward a sinister secret. Finally, I arrived at Hallowed Hollow, and the sight was chilling. The skeletal remnants of houses stood like silent sentinels, their broken windows reflecting the ghostly moonlight. As I stepped out of my vehicle, I felt a heavy chill in the air, even though it was the peak of summer. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched as I navigated the overgrown paths. Shadows danced ominously among the ruins, and faint whispers filled the air, like voices carried on a spectral breeze. I shivered, not only from the cold, but from a creeping sense of dread that overcame me. As I reached the town's center, I discovered an old well, choked with weeds. The stories had spoken of an occult ritual that had taken place here, a pact with otherworldly entities that had cursed the town. It was then that I saw her, a ghostly figure in a tattered white dress, her hair wild and disheveled. She stood by the well, weeping silently. I couldn't move, frozen in terror as her mournful gaze met mine. The next thing I knew, I was alone in the dark. The moon had disappeared, leaving me in total darkness. Panic welled up within me as I fumbled for my flashlight. When the beam of light cut through the inky blackness, I saw them, shadowy figures circling me, their eyes glowing with malevolence. In a desperate scramble, I sprinted through the ruins, their ominous laughter echoing through the ghost town. My heart pounded in my chest as I stumbled over cobblestones and uneven terrain. I knew I had to find my way out before whatever haunted this forsaken place had me in its clutches forever. Just as I reached the edge of Hallowed Hollow, the moonlight reappeared, and the chilling presence vanished. I didn't look back as I sped away, my heart pounding in my chest. Hallowed Hollow had nearly become my eternal resting place, a place where the supernatural and the sinister intertwined, waiting to ensnare anyone who dared to explore its haunted depths. In the heart of rural Appalachia, nestled deep within a forgotten valley, lay an abandoned mining town known as Black Hollow, the ghostly remnants of a once thriving community. Black Hollow was an eerie place where time seemed to stand still. Few dared to venture near the forsaken town, as they spoke of a chilling presence that lurked amidst the rotting shanties and decaying mine shafts. The tale of Black Hollow had been whispered in hushed tones for generations, passed down from elder to child as a cautionary tale. The townsfolk believed the valley was cursed, that the land itself was tainted by the dark deeds of the past. As the story goes, the town had flourished during the mining boom of the early 1900s, its coal-rich veins offering wealth to those who dared to delve into the earth's bowels. But greed seeped into the hearts of the miners, and a series of grisly accidents and violent disputes soon followed. One fateful night, deep in the heart of Black Hollow, a sinister explosion in the mine killed dozens of workers and left the entire town shrouded in a thick, impenetrable darkness. The tragedy was so profound that the very sky above Black Hollow turned ashen and gray, as if mourning the lost souls below. Desperation and fear led to a gruesome act. The townspeople, their faces veiled in despair and madness, gathered the bodies of the fallen miners in the center of the town and set them ablaze, creating a towering pyre that illuminated the night like a grotesque beacon. They believed this act would somehow purify the town, rid it of its malevolent spirit. But it was said that the souls of the dead did not find peace. Instead, they returned as wailing specters, forever trapped within the darkened, forsaken mines. The howls of the tormented souls echoed through the valley at night, chilling the hearts of those who heard. Over the years, Black Hollow fell into a state of decay. Its streets were lined with dilapidated homes, their windows boarded up, and the mine entrances sealed with rotting wood. The only sound that could be heard was the eerie rustling of leaves, the creaking of long-abandoned structures, and the distant, mournful wails of the spectral miners who still toiled beneath the earth. Those who ventured into Black Hollow claimed to have witnessed shadowy figures moving among the ruins, their faces eternally twisted in pain. Others spoke of strange lights in the windows of the old houses, as if the ghosts of the town were trying to communicate. Despite the tales and warnings, some dared to explore the forsaken valley, drawn by morbid curiosity or the hope of hidden treasures. Many who entered were never seen again, their disappearances adding to the legend of Black Hollow. And so, the abandoned town of Black Hollow remained a place where the living dared not tread, for the past was never truly buried, and the restless souls of the miners continued to haunt the valley, their presence serving as a chilling reminder of the horrors that had unfolded in that eerie, desolate place.